Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Leadership Satsang. My name is Yukti Kapoor Mehndiratta. I'm your leadership coach and very happy to have this platform that connects me with you, the lifelong learners who believe in learning consciously. The reason why you made time for this session is because you are seeking ways to improve yourself as a leader. And if that is what brings you here, then I'm happy to take time out and offer whatever I know that helps you to prepare yourself to become that leader you aspire to be. We're here to talk about authentic leadership today, which is a very important aspect of becoming a transformational leader. You see, there are so many terminologies which are in this space of leadership. There is a servant leader, then there is a spiritual leader, then there is a transformational leader, and now authentic leader. All of that are not different leadership styles. All of that are just different ways of saying the same thing. If you look at it closely, it all boils down to leading from within, which we call as leading inside out. Understanding the person behind the leader before we decide the image and the mask that we need to create of being a leader. Leadership is not some performance or act that needs to be put out there so that we get appreciated, validated, compensated for being this perfect persona of a leader. If that's the method or approach that anybody is following, you will see them coming down very quickly. You cannot maintain a facade for too long. And if I may say, there is no need to do that. It's so exhausting to not be yourself. In fact, I have really met people, by the way, who believe that you need to be a different person at home and a different person at work. Now, I'm not saying that you can be the same in terms of putting your legs up on the table and have your lunch even if you're in office. I'm not talking about that. That is etiquette. And etiquette is about paying respect, showing respect to people. Right? So you need to follow the etiquette depending upon where you are. But that doesn't make you a different person. You are the same person that you are. And when you bring that person that you are into what you do, is when you're able to reflect that authenticity that we're looking at in leaders. So before I go any further into this discussion, I want to warmly welcome each and every person here with me. Thirumal, good to see you here again. We were just in a transformational leadership session a minute back and he's jumped in directly. Wonderful. Thank you, Thirumal, for being here. Hiren, so good to see you again. Wonderful. So many of you here. Thank you so much. Means a lot. Anurag, Manoj, Bharat, thank you guys for making time. Joining in from different parts of the country and maybe different parts of the world. It is the best day of the week for me because Tuesdays is what helps me to put my message out and connect with you all and add my 2 cents to your success and your ability to lead effectively. Thank you so much for giving me that opportunity. Let us now dive into what does authentic leadership mean. So I'm curious to know from you all, what is your understanding of authentic leadership? What does that mean to you? What does it mean to be an authentic leader? Anyone? Just put it in the comment box. I would love to know, what are your thoughts? What do you think it means to be an authentic leader? And then I'll share with you what's my understanding of it and how can we become an authentic leader. Yeah, Adil, Shailendra, let's hear it from you, Zana. So good to have you here. Lead with heart, Zana says. Lead with heart. Okay. Debargya, a leader who is true to himself. Okay. Actions match with values. Nice. Be yourself. Awesome. Okay. Great. And nothing of this is incorrect. Putting you before me. Okay. So putting others before yourself is what you mean. Okay. Sharing facts with our team members. Being yourself and following your instincts, Hiren says. Okay. Walk the talk. Simple and straightforward. Wonderful. Living up to values. Yeah. Perfect. Absolutely right understanding. All of that put together is what authentic leadership is about. I just want to, put this out loud and clear that when we talk about leadership, we don't need to feel the burden or obligation or compulsion to sound all goody goody, right? That, a leader should be like this person who is, ready to change the world and doesn't care about himself or herself. And for this person, the whole world comes before he is or she does. It doesn't have to be a larger than life goal or vision for us to call ourselves as an effective, transformational, or authentic leader. Leadership is about being true to yourself, and it's about believing that no matter what you know, there is so much more to know. It's as simple as that. It's about being aware that every success is a testimony of the fact that I'm in the right direction. It is not a destination in itself. And if you keep reminding yourself of this, you are a leader already. And you will be a transformational leader in the making, because a transformational leader is always in the making, which means you're always work in progress. And you are making progress because you know what work you are doing. That work is the learning which you are bringing in consciously. There is no progress if there is no work happening, right? Now, a lot of people say, I am forever work in progress. What does that mean? If you're not doing any work consciously, if you're not working upon yourself consciously, then what is the progress? How will you measure that progress? How do you know you're making progress? Progress is possible only if there is some work being done consciously towards making that progress. Make sense? If it makes sense, let me see what's opening up for you, regardless of what he needs to do for it, or else you are just a manager. Yeah, right. Okay. So, manager is somebody who gets at an execution level and focuses at that, whereas a leader is somebody who can look more strategically at things at a certain, in a certain holistic manner, right? So, the distinction between leader and manager is long established in your mind. I know that, and I can say that for my audience for sure. So, we're all aware of it, and I will leave it at that. Let's now see the what, why, and how of authentic leadership. I'm going to share with you my mind map, and I would encourage you to create yours as I take you through this discussion of authentic leadership. Let me first share with you what authentic leadership is not. What it is not. Authentic leadership is not an excuse for you to stay within your comfort zone, saying what? Saying that, listen, authentic means being yourself. Okay, this is who I am. So I'm going to be the person I am, and I'm not going to change myself for anybody. That's not authentic leadership. It is also not something that gives you a license to be excessively focused on yourself. I am authentic, I am honest, and this is what I believe in, this is what I will do, this is what I will not do, and that is called being an authentic leader. Absolutely not. It is also not something that gives you the permission to be in the face, causing any hurt or distress to other people. And a lot of people do that in the name of being authentic, in the name of being honest. They are ready to spit on people's face and say, hey, you know what? Honestly, I think you suck. Is that being authentic and being honest? Well, you might honestly believe so, but the way you say it is just as important, because your intention is to add value to that person with this feedback. I hope that is your intention, because if that's not the intention, then we're not talking about leadership here. We're not exercising leadership for sure, right? Then we're talking about some personal comments we want to loosely put out to the world because we have no control over what we are saying, and something comes to my mind and I just say it. It's far from being a leader. If we are a practitioner of leadership, then we are probably saying whatever we are saying honestly with the intention to add value to somebody, right? As a certain kind of a feedback. And if that is the intention, then how of it is just as important. How are we putting out that honest feedback? How are we operating as an authentic person is as important as why we want to be an authentic person. So, what does authentic leadership mean? It's a bit of a long sentence, but I'm going to break this down because every element is very important to understand. Authentic leadership is a leadership style exhibited by individuals who have high standard of integrity, right? Authentic leadership is exhibited by somebody who has a high standard of integrity, takes responsibility of their action, and make decisions based on the principles rather than short-term success. A lot of you talked about values, right? What are the values that I hold as an individual? Let me tell you, as much as it's a very common discussion to have, not many are aware of their core values. What is a core value? Core value is that non negotiating value which cannot be ignored with whatever decisions you have to make in life. Whatever you call as right or wrong passes through this filter of your core value. And not many of us have taken that time out from life to sit back and understand and think and connect with our core value. So if you haven't done that as yet, I would very strongly recommend that you make time to do that as soon as you can. Maybe soon after this session, just sit for 5 minutes and go deeper within yourself and go back to the times when you could not sleep well after doing something or not doing something. Go back to the times when you were feeling restless because you were not sure that you played as per your principles and your values. Go back to the times when you were being applauded for, you looked successful, but you weren't happy from within, because these are the symptoms of you having gone beyond or against your values. And somewhere there lies your core value. And that's the first thing to identify as an authentic leader. What is my core value? So that's what authentic leadership means. I'm going to come back to you for a bit to see, what do you think is your core value? Let's have that in the comment box. What, as per you, is your core value? And every value is a good value, right? But we all don't have, necessarily might not have the same core value. Now, for somebody, honesty is the core value. They cannot negotiate honesty for anything. You can give them more money, more fame, more whatever, but they can't compromise with that. With others, as much as they value honesty, honesty might not be their core value. Maybe respect is their core value, right? For somebody else, it could be something else, which is their core value, a non-negotiable value, which is most important in you and in everybody who works with you. Integrity is for Thirumal. Doing things right at all times is for Zana. Ethics and sincerity for Mamta. Awesome. Awesome, right? So you see, this value will help you to decide what to say no to and what to say yes to. That is core value. Harish says humanity. High on accountability. Okay. Role model, inspire, and vision. So, Ramaraj, role model is how we are perceived. Somebody could look up to you and call you as a role model. It cannot be my value to be a role model. We have to be very careful with the value words that we choose for ourselves, right? So, some of those words are probably skills, or some of those words could be aspirations. Like, I could aspire to be somebody's role model. I could aspire to be an inspiration for people. But inspiration is not my core value. Are you understanding the difference? The value that you hold is what helps you to take action, to make those decisions, to decide upon your rights and wrongs, right? For your yes and no's. So collaboration, open and honest, integrity. Okay, super. You guys got it, right? So that's your core value. And I would like you to test it against the events from the past, and also against the decisions you're making in the present, and anything and everything that you will do in the future. See, how is it related to your core value? Does it reflect your core value in what you do and how you do it? So with that, let's take the next step deeper and not just forward into authentic leadership by understanding the who of it. Who is an authentic leader? An authentic leader is somebody who is aware of himself and her or herself. Self-awareness. Who is disciplined for their own reasons. So self-disciplined. Who is driven by his or her own purpose and mission. Self-driven individual. Who works on improving himself or herself consciously. Self-improvement is important for an authentic leader. And who can inspire trust in other people. If you have these qualities, if you're bringing in these practices consciously, then you are an authentic leader. Somebody who's aware, somebody who's disciplined, who's driven, who knows how to improve, where to improve, what to improve, and who can connect with people and establish trust, inspire trust with people. So let me share with you how to get there. Each one, by the way, is a standalone journey. We can go levels deeper into self awareness, and likewise for the other four. But I'm going to touch upon one way to get started with the time that we have in Leadership Satsang today. And this will be a great start for you. Even if you've consciously done a few things in this direction, I would encourage you to keep going or bring this and add it to your roadmap as you work towards being an authentic leader. So, for self awareness, what can be done is to invite more feedback. Feedback is as good as the questions that you put out to people who need to give you the feedback. If you ask specific questions, you get good responses. If you ask generic questions, you get terrible responses, no value. For example, tell me, am I a good leader? If that's your question, you're asking for feedback on your leadership abilities, and you say, okay, do you think I'm a good leader? And people say, yes, I think you're a good leader. Then you ask them, how do you think I'm a good leader? Then you ask them, what are the qualities that you think make me a good leader? People is how I'm perceived. What are those blind sides, those that quadrant of Johari window where I don't know a few things about myself, but people can see. What's that? And that will come to light with feedback. So spend some time planning your questions before you jump into a feedback exercise. But that is one of the best ways to expand self awareness. Find out things about yourself that are not visible to you. Yep, let's come to self discipline. How do you bring in self discipline? By bringing your knowing into doing. Let me explain this for a bit. Many of us get very excited about learning new stuff, isn't it? And that's the reason why you would buy a new book. Maybe you would log into a session like this one, or you would go onto YouTube and watch some interesting videos. Those how-to videos, how to do this, how to do that, 5 ways to do this, 3 ways to do that. All of that is what? The aspiration, willingness to learn, right? And you want to learn more and more and more things. But I want to put out a very different point of view here for you to consider. I believe that as much as there is scope to know a lot more is possible to be known, of course. Like I said, no matter how much you know, there is so much more to know. But hang on, before we get there, isn't it important for us to see of what I know, how much do I do? How much do I bring to practice from what I already know before I put myself out for some more learning? And while that is a great exercise and it must be continued and you must continue to keep learning new stuff, it's also important to take a stopgap, a moment of reflection, sit back, look at what you already know, and see how much of it you bring into practice. Discipline is about practicing and doing what you know and doing it consistently. And that consistency comes when you're clear about why you're doing it. It's really as simple as that. If you understand that I need to start working out in the morning, and if I do that, it's going to help me stay more fit, increase my metabolism. And if I do that, it helps me to be more productive in the day. And if I'm able to do that, I'm able to achieve more in the same time. And that is my why. And so I will wake up and put in that effort to be consistent with my workout regime. I will not be able to do that if I just think I should do that because everybody is doing that. And exercise is a good thing. And it's a good thing, so I should do it. And that's where we miss out on being consistent. And then we think it's not my cup of tea. Let me find another way to exercise. And that is just forever, guilt that falls in that long list of things that we're guilty about. Anything that you're guilty about, pick that up in isolation and question yourself, why do you even want to do it? And if you're clear about that why, it'll be off your guilt list very soon, I promise you that. Self discipline is about bringing in consistency after you understand. How will you bring into practice what you already know you should do? Start with that. And then there is a lot more to be learned. And that in itself is a very exciting journey. But let's start with covering what we already know, because trust me, a lifetime is not enough for us to cover just that. And then comes self driven. To be self driven, you have to know the purpose that drives you. You have to know the values which help you to do what you do. You have to know the guiding principles that help you decide the rights and the wrongs, your rights and wrongs, and helps you to also bring in the flexibility to accommodate and respect other people's rights and wrong, allowing multiple perspectives to come in. Being self driven is about driving yourself towards a meaningful purpose. If there is one thing that's common in all of us as humans, especially leaders, it is our innate desire to add value to the world, isn't it? We want to do something nice, something meaningful, something that makes people's lives better. At least our internal environment, the circle, the inner circle around us, should experience a better quality of life because you are in the middle of that circle and you want to add that value to the surrounding that you are a part of. That happens when you're able to identify what is that purpose that leads you to do what you do, that helps you to wake up every morning with excitement. And that's where the drive comes from. Self improvement is a function of learning consciously. Please don't fall in trap of free learning, cheap learning, or easy learning. Something that comes for free, no harm doing it. Let's do this webinar, we don't have to pay. Let's read a book, what, $500, doesn't matter, we'll pick it up, everybody's talking about it. And then I don't even complete the book or learn enough from the book. In fact, there is a study done to prove that when we read a book cover to cover, we learn only 3% from it. It's when we read it again that we might learn even 30% from the same book. Did you know that? And we are forever looking out for the next book after we read this one. Somewhere it becomes something about proving to yourself or to the world around how much can you read, how many books have you read, and if the question comes around summing it up and giving, sharing 10 learnings from that book, many of us would struggle to put that together. So the important part is not how many, but what. What is it that you're learning? And hence we need to bring in consciousness, consciously learning, deciding what I want to learn. And that in itself is an important question to answer. What is it that I want to learn? And then how do I want to learn it? How can I do it consciously? And then comes the ability to inspire trust. Trust is established when there is congruence in what you say and what you mean and what you do. When you do what you say and you say what you mean is when people are able to trust you. It's as simple as that. Right? If you say something else and people see you doing something else, it's very difficult to trust. Is that true? Right? So you will say all the nice flowery stuff, but when it comes to putting things in action, well, people don't see you doing anything different from what many others are doing. So when you practice what you preach, when you bring in the congruence in what you think, what you say, and what you do, is when people are able to trust you. Authentic leadership helps us to establish that trust because it allows us to be who we truly are. It allows us to embrace our imperfections and also fills us up with the courage to work towards them, to see what are the weaknesses that I need to cover, what are the gaps that I need to bridge to serve people around in a better way as a leader. You do that because you understand that leadership is a responsibility. And if you take that responsibility, it is a part of the responsibility to work upon yourself and see ways and means, skills and tools required for you to be able to serve better as a leader. And authentic leadership takes away the pressure of performance. An authentic leader is not running a show up on stage. An authentic leader is running the real show of life. where he or she is aware of being a facilitator, somebody who stands at the backstage, ensuring that whoever goes up on the stage is prepared to their potential and performs to their potential. That's the only job. But for that job to take life, to take shape, it's important for you to go within yourself and connect with the real you and accept the real you as whoever she is or he is. And with that, we bring in the scope for conscious learning. We bring in the scope to bring the learning into doing. And that is what helps us to build the trust that we need as a foundation for every relationship, whether personal or professional. I hope you've taken away something from this discussion, and I would love to know what that something is. So please do put it out in the comments, even later if you watch this video later, because every time you put out your sharing and you tell me that you're taking away something, it encourages me to keep going and bringing out more and more such messages to you that will help you to lead with authenticity, help you to connect with your spirituality, and will help you to lead truly and authentically as a leader. Thank you so much. Please do look out for our previous recordings. They're all there on my YouTube channel. It's called Yukti Mehendi Ratta. On Insta, my handle is Yukti Talks. So please check it out and see many other, learning dopes that I've put out, small videos that I've put out, and I'm hoping that will add value to you and will help you to lead and fuel your passion to add meaning and purpose to not just your life, but the lives around and the lives you lead. Thank you so much. Signing off for now. I will see you again next Tuesday with another important aspect of leadership and spirituality. God bless you all. I'll see you soon.